Hello, Foxy Finds here, and welcome back to Foxy Shiny Quest. This week's a hodgepodge of Pokemon, almost exclusively from Pokemon Violet. And that's about it. I feel like my intros are getting shorter, but I don't have too much to say. Not all 52 weeks can be a long, meaningful intro. Well, let's jump in. This is an interesting find. I was between hunts and I flew to this location, turned around, and there it was in its full blue majestic glory. Venomoth, the very first of many moth Pokemon. The dust on its wings can provide various status effects. Surprisingly, it's susceptible to ground type moves despite being in the air. Next we have Galarian Slowpoke. While Cantonian Slowpoke have tails that have a sweet flavor, Galarian Slowpoke have a tail that has a spicy flavor. Both of these use their tails to fish for food or for shelter to aid in evolution. Slowpoke is said to be slow because its psychic powers pull its attention away from what's in front of it, even delaying its understanding of being in pain. I managed to find another Rellor. This Pokemon evolves by running around outside of its Pokeball for a while, a mechanic that has been proven to be troublesome for many trainers. Eventually, I was able to get this to evolve into Rabsca. If you look inside its floating ball, there is another ball inside of it. This ball actually contains a cocoon. On occasion, the cocoon will glow brightly and you can see it. This is visible in the Pokédex. We now bring you a short intermission in the form of Pokemon Go. Paris, such an adorable symbiotic Pokemon. It has a mushroom on its back, which helps protect Paris, while they siphon its energy. At this stage of the relationship, it's pretty 50-50 to be honest. However, its evolution is a different matter. But we'll get to that when we catch that one, if we do catch that one. This Pokemon was going to initially have a lower form that was introduced in Generation 2, but that idea was cut, along with many other baby Pokemon ideas. So this Pokemon would have shown that the insect part of it came out of the mushroom, indicating that the mushroom assisted with this early stage of its life cycle. Instead, we got something a lot darker, something that shows this is a more one-sided relationship. This has been your intermission. Now back to your regularly scheduled Pokemon Violet Shinies. Oricorio. Ever have dinner and realize you want to be a cheerleader? Then have breakfast and want to learn some flowing Spanish dance moves. This Pokemon has 4 different forms based on what nectar it eats. Each form has a different typing, along with a different dance style associated with it. Though, I don't really see how cheerleader fits in. All of these Pokemon, though, have 2 primary colors, and their shiny forms swap those. Oricorio has a signature move, Revelation Dance, which changes what type it is based off of its form. Onto a Pokemon with something very unique. One of a kind, I'd even say. In Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon, you can encounter an NPC that has an Execute. What's special about it? Well, it's shiny. Very rarely do we see any shiny Pokemon owned by an NPC. This Pokemon was likely chosen because its evolution has a regional variant that was introduced in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Although named after eggs and appearing like eggs, this Pokemon is more based off of seeds. They do, however, like all other Pokemon, hatch from eggs. One of the earliest Pokemon revealed for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Cyclizar. Shiny hunting one of these felt a little bit like a game of dodgeball. I personally assumed that it would evolve into one of the box legendaries, and I was half right. Koraidon, from Scarlet version, is the ancestor of Cyclizar. And Cyclizar itself is the ancestor of Miraidon, the legendary of Violet. It's a commonly owned Pokemon in this world that is used for transportation, replacing both bikes or ride Pokemon that we see in previous games. Cyclizar are able to walk on 2 legs or go onto all 4 for faster transportation. This was a pretty good batch. I've mentioned before, some Pokemon have more or more interesting trivia than others. Though, I'm gonna have to let you know that next week I will be skipping the Foxy Shiny Quest video. I have some personal things that came up that need attending to. That said, if you enjoy my Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Multi-World Randomizer series, which is a mouthful I know, I'll be releasing a few of those in the next week. Hope to see you again soon, and as always, happy hunting!